All right, SEO product versus service strategies for SMBs, and that's small to mid-sized businesses. Welcome to the room, and I am so excited that you're here this morning. It's 11:11, so I want you guys to enjoy this moment. Yeah, and it's exciting to actually talk about this today because I've been really looking into how most of businesses these days are very open to connecting, but they're also very not so open to receiving. Because you think about connecting and receiving, there has to be a connection between the two, right? So if you're thinking about building connections, then the first step to building connections is to give people a reason to stay connected to you, right? So that's why today I said, hey, I'm going to come on to Clubhouse and give you guys some really cool insights on some strategies you can apply. I'm not going to make it too cumbersome. I'll make it very detailed so that you can have three takeaway points, and then from there we can come back later in the week to discuss this. So I'm excited you guys are here. I'm doing a room very randomly. I didn't plan to do this, but I said I'm going to do this for the next hour, and then at the top of the hour I'll close everything down. But I wanted to at least give some time because I haven't been on the app for a while. I've just been doing a lot of flying, but I'm glad that I'm able to be here. Hey, Peter. Hey, Anisha. Welcome to the room. It's good to have you guys here. I know Peter's in Canada, so thanks for being here, Anisha. Great to have you, and I can't wait to connect with you soon as well. Looking forward to it. Yes. Hey, Peter.
Hey, Favour. Thanks for inviting me up.
Yeah, anytime. You're in Canada, right?
Yeah, I'm just on the north side of Lake Ontario, across from Rochester for my American friends.
Oh, nice. That's good. I should be there, God willing, sometime this year. We'll see. There's a plan towards that, but we'll see. If I do make it there, I'll definitely let you know.
What part of the States you in?
Oh, I'm in Houston, Texas, but currently I'm in Maryland at the moment.
Sweet. Great.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. John is also in the building. Hey, John. Good morning. Good morning. Thanks for being here. Now in Eastern for a little bit before I get back to Central. Hey, John.
Good morning. Happy Monday, everybody.
Happy Monday. Thank you so much for being here, everybody. Yeah, this is a great room. John, I don't know if you've met Peter before. I got to meet Peter in the SEO room, where Noah is the founder there, and he has amazing rooms. I got to connect with Peter, and he's also a great guy on SEO. So I don't know if y'all have met before.
Not yet. Nice to meet you, John.
Nice to meet you too, Peter.
Amazing. Guys, thank you for being here. I'm so excited about this because I wanted to do this room only for products, but I felt like not every business, every business has a product, but not every business is e-commerce. So I felt like, let me just bring them together because I feel like most people may not know what the differences are on how to structure your business when you think about a product service, or think about let me put it this way, a product-based business and a service-based business. Those are two different types of businesses, but they all kind of have the same fundamental strategy when it comes to SEO. So I wanted to just, bring that to your attention so that you don't feel like, okay, am I on the right side or am I on the left side? Am I up? Am I down? We are all together in this, and we can definitely give you some insights. So in the room, I want to just get a quick vote, or like a quick survey. Put product if you have a product business, put service if you have a service business in the chat, and then put both if you have both product and service businesses. I just want to see what we have here in the chat. Okay, Anisha got both. That's good. Hassan has both. Dr. RP has service. Okay, this is good. I like that we're very mixed. John has service. Okay. Peter service, product for clients. Okay, this is good. Okay. Let me see. Anybody else in the chat? Okay, this is a good blend. And Julie's here. Hey, Julie. Good morning. Welcome. Come to the stage. We'd love to have you here if you're available. That is, Anisha too. But I know you guys might be busy, so feel free to jump up if you're available. The net says service. Okay, so I'm seeing a lot of service. You see, that's why I didn't want to do product, because my mind was like, if I do product, I might be on one left side, that might be two on the extreme, that people that have services may not benefit. So I said, let me bring both together so that we can all, share this great stuff. So now that you guys say both, let me go a little deeper into the question. Put the name of the industry you're in. So if you're in a service business, put the name of the industry. If it's finance, travel, engineering, medical, food, whatever it is, put it in the chat, because I just want to see how we're all diversified, because we all do different services, and each service has a different target. It has a different goal, it has a different objective, but they all have the same thing. So let's see. John has radio and podcast. Okay. Hassan, Dr. RP, Peter, Danette, and Anisha. If you guys are available, please put in the chat. I'd love to know, and anyone else who is in the room listening. Real estate and travel. Gianab, I hope I said it correctly. Hairstylist. Okay. Anisha, health and wellness. Okay, perfect. This is good. This is good. Hassan says chemical manufacturing and contracting services, sales engine, coach retail stores. Coaching retail stores. Okay, Peter, I didn't know you do coaching retail stores. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, what I do is I used to own a retail store, and I also used to own an agency. So I work with retailers to maximize their online returns. I thought you knew that.
I did not. I know you do SEO, but I didn't know at what point, because everyone does it differently. So I didn't want to assume.
SEO is just a small part of what I do. So I do mostly what I'm really good at is getting really high returns on ad spend. But SEO is definitely mixed in there.
Nice. I love that. I love that you have that paid media strategy, because it's very vital for organic and SEO in general. So that's good. I'm glad that you specialize in that. I didn't know that. Thanks for that insight. John, radio and podcast, tell us a little bit more.
Well, my focus is primarily for online is primarily the podcast and getting more listeners, getting more readers of blog articles, and getting more traffic to the website. Radio, it's always about getting more stations and getting a bigger audience. So that's the main thing. I drive all revenue from advertising and sponsorship and not direct sales. So I don't have a product to sell, but I definitely have consumers, and the consumers are what drives the revenue needle for me.
Lovely. I love that. Thanks for that insight. Okay, this is good. All right. So I also want to, tap into even the other services too that were mentioned in the chat, because I know not everyone's on stage, but I want to give you like an overall ballpark idea of what having a strategy as an SMB is when you apply SEO. SEO is, like Peter was saying, it's like a little piece of the cake. Like the bigger picture, like if someone sees a cake from a distance, you're going to love that cake. Oh, it looks pretty. Then when you come closer and you eat it, that's when you really know how this cake really tastes, right? Because you're going to have it in your taste buds. You're going to feel it. You're going to taste it. There's going to be some type of reaction that's going to happen. Tastes good, or ugh, I don't want it. So you're going to have those two sides to play with depending on what you like, right? Some people like raisins, some people don't. Some people like food, some people don't like milk, some people don't like cheese, so everybody has their own kind of thing, right? So how do you serve everybody at the same time, at a large scale, with the same mission? And that's what I want us to talk about today. Because as a strategy, the first thing, Anisha's laughing, the first thing that you want to think about, right, as a service-based business or as a product-based business is your website. How fast is your website? How connected is your website? And how reliable is your website, right? Fast, right? You have to think about the speed, because if that website is not fast enough, as far as connecting, it's going to be hard. I want to give you like a product example. I've seen this so many times on websites. It's become a norm. It shouldn't be, but that's the reality we're living in. When I look at some product-based businesses, right, and I look at their websites, I see that they have images. Let's say you have 20 products in your store. Those 20 products are 20 links. Those are 20 images. You might have maybe 5 in one product. So that's times 5, depending on how many images you're storing up. So if you think about the number of images you have per product, right? Inside those products have images. Because the only way someone can buy, even on Amazon, when you go on Amazon, you're buying it off the image. You're not really buying it off the product. Yes, it is a product that you're seeing, but you're buying it off the image. If that image doesn't look clean, if it doesn't look nice, you're not going to buy it. And if you look at most Amazon links, I would say 99.9% of them, they all have a white background. They're all clean. They're all clear, right? You want to see what you're looking at. So the images that you're putting on the web, right? Even if you're working with Amazon and you're putting your own products there, or you have your own website, please make sure that the images that you are uploading to your website are compressed. They need to be compressed. You can go to a website like compressor.io. It's free. You can do as heavy as 10 megabytes. If you're above 10 megabytes MB, then you may have to use another platform, or if you have Adobe, you can use that, but just I don't think it will hit over 10 unless you're extracting it from a camera. But most images, like from Canva and from other platforms, even from your phone, will not really hit 10 megabytes. If it does, then that's a really huge file. But point is, make sure that your files, when you upload them to your website, they are fast, they are compressed, they're good chunk size. Like if I look at 10 images, all those 10 images should at least amount to, let's say, 1 to 5 megabytes, right? Which means that maybe one is 200 kilobytes, the other one is 300 kilobytes, the other one is 500 kilobytes, maybe the other one is 40 kilobytes. Like, you want it to be very small. You don't want to lose the quality, because sometimes we think, oh, when we reduce the size of the image, we're also reducing the quality of the image. That's not true. It depends on how you're compressing it. That's why compressor.io, they have a lossy format and they have a lossless format. So just check the website, see what it is, and let me know if you have any questions on that. But the reason why I'm giving this example is because if you have a website and your website has images and those images are big, let's say you have 5 of those images and each of them are 10 megabytes, that's 50 megabytes. Right? 50 megabytes means that for me to load up your site, let's say I have bad network, I can't load up your site because I have to load up the images, I have to load up the text, I have to load up the content. By the time I'm done loading, 10 seconds has already gone by that I can't get back. And now I've lost a customer because I didn't think about the size. You know, this size matters. When you think about the focus, the point that you're actually giving people, you have to understand that when you're giving people these images to look at, they have to be in a sizable format that can be understood, that can be seen. Even the file format has to be correct, right? We have WebP, we have PNG, we have JPEG. You know, kind of figure out what's best for you. Most people say like WebP and PNG are good, but also just do your research because you want to know what works for you. So when you create your content, don't just create your content on just giving people, you know, images. Even your Instagram, even your TikTok, your Facebook, like this is a 101 for everything. I'm not just talking about your website. I'm talking about your brand. Anywhere you show up, you upload an image, that image needs to be compressed. Why? Because when people are loading up images online, that's time involved. So if you don't want to waste someone's time, give someone the fastest way option, right? The fastest possible route, so that they can consume your content in a fast way and then come back to you later because you're reliable. So speed is important in SEO. Speed is important because if you don't have a fast website, you're not going to have a fast checkout. You're not going to have a fast experience. You're not going to have a fast connection. So before I go any further, Peter, John, any questions, any comments, any suggestions? We'd love to hear from you.
All that sounds great to me.
You're right on target. Absolutely, Favour.
Thank you, John. I just wanted to make sure we can go around the room. I didn't want to miss out on anything as well. So please ask me any question in the chat if you have any questions as well. So I'm going to pick one of the services. For example, I see like Danette said real estate and travel, right? Now, I want to go a little deeper into that. Hopefully, Danette, if you're available, would love to have like a, you know, one-on-one question answer, you know, routine here in the room, you know, if possible, or anyone as well who put it in the chat. When I look at real estate and travel, right, those are two different services, right? Two different audiences, but they kind of connect together in a way, right? Because if I love real estate and I love travel, then there's something that attracts me to keep going to different locations, right? When I think of travel and real estate, the first thing that comes to my mind is location, right? Location, location, location. So if my location is within a set zone, let's say I want to set, like, let me not assume. Hey, Danette, you're here. I don't want to make any assumptions. Good morning. How are you? Danette, are you there? If you're speaking, you're muted.
Okay, can you hear me
Yes.
now? Good morning.
Good morning. Tell us a little bit about real estate. Do you buy, sell homes? Do you, what's the, just give me the whole ballpark between the travel and real estate.
Well, I started real estate and just kind of selling, kind of graduating into investing, to own property as well as flip properties. But I also kind of stumbled into travel because, well, one, I like to travel, and two, um, I wanted to add an extra. What's the word I'm looking for? I wanted to stand out, be a little bit different from my clients. So sometimes I would send them discounts and things for like travel, just as a way of, me thanking them for their services or business. And also at the same time, they, will use the travel service part, right? So that's kind of how I stumbled into it. But my major focus is definitely real estate. But yeah, that's pretty much what it is. Real estate. And then I kind of added with the travel.
Awesome. Okay. So real estate is the business and travel is more of like the fun side.
Right.
Okay. Whenever you connect with clients, does travel ever enter the conversation?
Yes.
Okay. And how does that go? Do they go on, like, how do they find you? Do they get a referral? Do they find you online? Do they ask questions? How does it work?
Most of my clients are referrals. I'm definitely found online, on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. The only one I'm not on is um, TikTok. But, all the social media I'm on. And, but most of my referrals are word of mouth and online.
Okay.
I'm also affiliated with Realtor.com, so I also get customers that way as well.
Okay, awesome. Thank you for that insight. Okay, this is good. I like this because it gives me a perspective of, where we're going as far as, connections, strategies, service-based businesses, and how people connect with you. Now, with your website, do people come to your website to inquire, or do they just stumble upon, your content in between on other social platforms?
Now, that's the thing. I think they either stumble across it more so, um, as opposed to like, I'm just going to go to the site. And then they may, just to kind of check me out. Um, but I think a lot of times it's more stumble upon it, especially with the Realtor.com piece. Um, that's what I would have to say. I'd say more stumble, and that's my issue. I want it to be. I'm trying to get it more so that the SEOs and things like that, it stands out and kind of brings them um, brings more attention, to the net lender, or should I say the realtor, so to speak.
Okay. Now, one more question before I go, into the other two parts I wanted to discuss. On your website, because I know for real estate, most real estate businesses, because I've worked with real estate industry, clients, and I noticed that sometimes they don't have their own website, or they may have their website, but they point people to the third party site. Is that the same case for you, or?
Yes, it is.
Okay. All right. This is good. Thanks for this insight, and I hope you guys also understood like where I was going with these questions, because why I kept asking Danette these questions is because it's pointing back to dominance. It's pointing back to domain authority, because when we look at our service or our product as a business, most times we don't look at our website first. We kind of look at social media first, which is a huge problem because oh yeah, sorry, didn't you have a hot mic? Then I'll mute you just for a second.
Okay.
Oh, sorry about that. Just wanted to make sure everybody is, able to hear. Okay. So it's very important to look at your website importantly, because if you don't have a website people can come to, then there's going to be a problem, right? There's going to be a problem along the way. And why I'm saying there's going to be a problem is because you won't be able to find your audience accurately, right? Imagine you have a website. People don't go to your website every day. And then you have a year report. And that report says, oh, you had 5 people from this city, 5 people from this place, 2 people from here. It's so skewed that you can't even use that information to do anything tangible. You might do some sample testing, but it's not going to be comprehensive enough or robust enough for you to have something that can give you a long-term plan. So when you're thinking about your website, make sure it's fast. A fast website is great. If you go to Amazon.com now, in a blink of an eye, you're going to see the website open, right? If you go to Tesla, if you go to Apple, they make sure that the website is fast, because speed is the name of the game, right? If you think about speed with your website, it's a good place for people to find you. Now, when you think about a service or a product, the second strategy that I want to apply or help you understand here, this is for all industries, right? Is that if you have a service-based business or a product-based business, the number of services, I don't think I've ever said this before, so I'm going to give this a really good breakdown. The number of services you offer have to be multiplied by at least 2 to 5. Let me explain. So if you have 2 services, right? Then on your website, I need to see at least 4, 2 times 5, 10. I need to see at least 10 pages on your website talking about those 2. Yeah, let me use the upper limit. Yeah, to make it easier. So if you have 2 services, you should have at least 10 pages, 10 web pages talking about those 2 products or those 2 services. Why? Because when somebody wants to surf the web or look for you, right? Let's say you're in real estate, like the net says, right? Let's say you're into selling and buying homes. People don't know what side of real estate to come through, right? So if I have 5 more pages on my website talking about, buying your first home, frequently asked questions about buying and selling. Is it better to sell in the beginning of the year or the end of the year? Just random questions that people are asking that you can do some research on. By the time you answer 5 questions about one service, and you're connecting each of those services to each other. In other words, when you create an article, you publish it, you should have a related article pointing back to the previous one, and a new one pointing to the old one, an old one pointing to the new one. Some people kind of do it on one side. You publish a new post, and then you publish something old. People don't go to the extent of going to an old site or an old page and then referencing the new page, and then you have to index both. So when you index both, you're creating this bridge. Because if somebody finds you on, hey, I'm trying to find my first home, how do I buy my first home? Then they stumble upon your website online. They're reading the article. They're watching your YouTube video. You may have a podcast. You may have some type of referrals in there. They can connect with you there. Now, as soon as they're done reading, now the next step is, okay, now I know how to, get myself ready for a new home. What's the next step? Because anytime someone answers a question, there's always going to be another question. Most times, more often than not. So anytime there's another question following up, that question has to be followed up with comprehensive information to back up the last information. I'll give you an example. On LinkedIn, this is what I do with our clients these days, and it's so exciting to see. When you have a new newsletter on LinkedIn, I don't know if it's for everybody yet, because some people tell me they don't see it, but whenever I see it on my side, I screenshot it and I send it to them, because they may not see it on their end, because I'm in LinkedIn beta program. When we publish your newsletter, right, as an authority online on LinkedIn, as soon as it goes out, there's an AI suggestion box that shows up right underneath your LinkedIn newsletter. And there are usually three, right? Those three are subcontextual informational pieces that you should address in your next newsletter, because what the AI is suggesting is not a guess. It's not guesswork. I mean, you may think it's guesswork, but it's learning your information, right? It's learning how you speak. So if I have one article and I'm getting three recent articles or three related topics, that is a way of telling me that yes, they may understand this concept, but they're going to ask these questions after. So if you answer those questions before they ask and you already place them there, that shows your dominance, that shows your domain authority, that shows you have a full understanding of who your ideal or your let me put it this way, your ideal client avatar is, right? Who is the right person that you're talking to? Because by the time they're done reading all those articles, those newsletters, those episodes, they'll send you an email. They'll call you, they'll text you, they'll try to look for you, they'll find you. And then when they connect with you, they'll tell you what they've been going through. And then you have the right solution for them, right? The good thing is that they understand the problem. You go to the doctor, you say, hey, I'm going through this, through that. You know what the problem is, but they have the solution to that problem. So the same thing with you as a business owner, you want to have those problems solved from a knowledge panel perspective, so that when people are learning about who to go to, they're not looking for somebody random. They're looking for the person who has been able to answer the question the best, right? And the best is subjective. I'm not saying that, your question is not the best, or your answer is not the best, but how you consider yourself as the best is based on how simplified your responses should be, right? How simplified your responses should be. FAQs is one of the biggest things a lot of people miss out. FAQs, frequently asked questions, because those frequently asked questions is what drives business. The more questions I ask you, the more business I'm getting closer to, right? When you think about all these big deals, these, big companies, they talk about all these things. You have a goal, and your goal is to inform. As a business, your goal is to inform. So if I'm informing you about something, where's the best place to get that information? The website. That's why when you go to a restaurant, or you go to maybe your T-Mobile, your AT&T, Verizon, you go there and you tell them, hey, I'm having a problem with this. And then they tell you, okay, click this link, or we'll send you a referral link or a resource article to tell you more about how to solve it. If you're using like GoDaddy or these kind of platforms and you're going through a problem, you go to support, they're going to send you a link, right? That link is telling you indirectly that they have already answered your question before you ask that question. So that shows the corporate value. It shows your dominance. It shows that you've done your homework. It shows that you've been able to connect with people beyond the first question they asked. So by the time they're asking you the 10th question, you've already answered those questions fully. So when they now do business with you, it's no brainer, because now you've been able to accomplish all those tasks and you've been able to give them the information they're looking for. Now it's up to you, because the ball is in your court now, to supply and give them what they're demanding, so that when they now give you that feedback, it's based on the conversation you guys had from the beginning. So point is, when you're creating content online, don't just talk about one topic. Like, for example, we're talking about products versus services strategies for SMBs. If I publish this as a newsletter on LinkedIn, I'm going to get 3 more suggestions. Then I'll come with 3 new articles. That makes it 4, right? So I touched on one topic. I got 3 results. I now have 4 articles, and that makes me have times 4, because each of those 4 may have 3 others. So if you do 4 times 3, that's 12 times the number of articles you have. Before you know it, you've covered everything. Then you move on to the next topic. Then you move on to the next topic. So if you do that consistently, I know it sounds like a lot of work. We can do the heavy lifting for you. But if you just take a day at a time, some people do it. I love how John does it. Always on LinkedIn, you're always going to see a new post. That shows top of mind, top of mind, top of mind, top of mind. It gets to a point where people already know that if you don't show up, it's actually like, where are you? It kind of like flips the script, because like if you've been showing up every day and then you miss one day, it's like, where are you? But if you've never been showing up at all and you show up the first time, people won't really be surprised. So that consistency in showing up is a big thing as a product, as a service, because when you have a fast website and you have a website that has content, that content has value. because that value appreciates over time. And then from there, it becomes reliable because someone can go online and say, hey, I'm looking for this. How can I do this? Right? Buying versus selling your home. It's travel. Should I buy a flight on a Tuesday or should I buy a flight on a night on a Friday? It gets to that point where it becomes very specific. So as a business, the more questions you ask or answer online, the better it is for you, right? Like, for example, for me, just to give you some context, I got an email about Pinterest courses. My website is ranking within the third page for it says 35, so that's middle of the third page for Pinterest marketing courses, and I'm on the first page for Pinterest marketing strategies. So I'm like, okay, for me to get to the first page from the third page, then I need to create a commercial article talking about the top 10 Pinterest courses that are out there in 2024. And I'll include mine, of course. It wouldn't be wise to not include yours if you have something like that, but include yours. Even look at all these SaaS companies, right? They'll tell you, hey, this is the best tool to use. And then they'll tell you about their tool too, because they want you to know that they have a tool. They're not just telling you, hey, here are the best tools. They're telling you that because we've compared. When you shop, you do window shopping, you compare prices. People want to compare products. And if the more products you have on your site that you can compare to, the more real time you get, the more watch time you get, the more reading time you get, the more overall time you get. And that increases your click rate. So if you have 10 businesses you've partnered with and you say, hey guys, I know we do the same thing, but if I get an affiliate link from you, an affiliate link from you, an affiliate link from you, and we put this all into my article, have a disclaimer there for ethical marketing, tell them any link you click on here, I'm going to get a commission. Just be transparent from the jump, right? That way people can also connect with you faster, because the last thing you want to do is put a link there, try to be a little bit sheepishly doing things, and then you get dinged for that. That's the last thing you want to do, get off the web. So if you're creating content, commercially create content for your business, right? That's the biggest piece of information to tell you today. Make sure you have a business that has commercial value with content. Why am I saying this? Because it's good to have information. Right now, AI is everywhere, right? AI is everywhere. You can literally write content today, tomorrow, it's content. Content is free, right? But context has a fee, right? Context is free, but context has a fee. And what's that fee? Experience. You had to pay some time. You had to pay some diligence. You had to do some research, right? That context is coming from you. No one can take that away from you, because you have your story that is unique to you and is unique to them too. So when you're creating content, yes, break it down into two parts: informational content and commercial content. Because when you have commercial content, it validates the information you're giving. So if I tell you I have 10, I'm working on it this week, 10 Pinterest courses, right? Here are the top 10 Pinterest courses that I've seen, in 2024, and I'll connect with them. I'll tell them, hey, go here, go here, go here, go here. They'll go there, but guess where they'll come back to? They'll come back to you, because you're the one that told them to go left to right. So if I tell you, hey, how do you get to this street? And I get to the next person, I want to go back to the first person that told me where to go to, because that's how I met the second person. So there's a continuation of events that happens when you connect with people from an informational point to a commercial point. Yes, how to tie a tie. I've given this example so many times. How to tie a tie. Yeah, there's one way to tie a tie. There are two ways to tie a tie. Then I go into context marketing and I say, okay, there are cotton ties, there are, silk ties, there's, slim ties, all kinds of ties. That's context, because I may not like a bulky tie. You may like a bulky tie. I may like a bow tie. You might like something else. So when you start thinking about the context of your business and how you position yourself, ask yourself, how many products do I have? How many services do I have? How many pages on my website talk about the services I have? And how many pages can I commercialize to help people make a better decision about the product they're choosing on my site? That way, even if someone chooses the other person over you, you still get a commission for that, because you gave somebody direction. That person might just be looking for paid ads. They might just be looking for PR. They might just be looking for a boost here, a boost there. They may not need the whole service. Some might need the whole service. So you can't assume that everybody is coming to your site to buy. That's the thing, because people say, oh yeah, I have a lot of leads, I have a lot of impressions. Not everyone that's on your email list has bought from you, right? That's not because they are not buying. It's because when the need is necessary, it will show up and you will show up too. So you have to think about those things as a business and give yourself value so that commercially people can see, okay, you're talking about some commercial products. Right now, product versus service strategies for SMBs, that is a commercial title. That's why we're in this room today, because we want to know what is the commercial value? What is the intentional value, right? So the more intention you're giving to the attention you're grabbing, the more retention you get over the time you spend. So when you spend that time online and give people context, they'll feel like this person actually gets me. Okay, we like coffee, like our coffee black, or we like our coffee with a creamer, or I like hazelnut instead of coconut. Become very specific with how people connect with you online. That way you have less time to explain yourself because you show yourself up and people can actually see for who you are. So these are some examples I wanted to give us today. Peter, John, Danette, any questions, any suggestions? We'd love to hear from you. And I see my good friends as well. Vanessa, America's Mom, Chioma, Austin, Hidden, Dr. Fashion, and Julie, welcome back. Passing it to you. Any questions?
The only thing, and you've been laying it out really clearly, Favor, is, and I'm not saying that some people are not overnight successes, but for the vast majority of us, you said it, you got to be consistent. You got to be putting out the content. You got to do a lot of things. It does involve work. Or you could hire someone to do this if you don't have the time. And then you find someone that can fit your budget and fit your needs. But that's the only two choices we have. If you're not one of those people that's the overnight success that goes viral on one post and becomes an overnight millionaire, which most of us are not, myself included, then it involves a lot of work.
That is true. And if we think about the time we're spending, it's going to pay off long term, right? Long, 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 long term. Because like John said, like that consistency is key. People see you online. They won't tell you that they see you until the day they talk to you. Hey, I've been seeing you online, but you didn't know that 3 months ago, but you were doing it consistently. So when you're doing things consistently, don't be looking for that gratification like, oh, I need someone to clap for me, or I need someone to, cheer me on. Cheer yourself on. Clap for yourself. When was the last time you clapped for yourself, right? Think about those things that you're doing as a business, because those things are going to give you long-term success. Hey, Chama, welcome to the room. How are you? Good morning. I got to connect with you as well. I got to see you. So it's so good that we got to meet in person. How are you?
I'm doing well. Just recovering from, the event that I had over the weekend. But I came in late, but I was able to catch some of what you said. And not to say that this is anyone in the room, but maybe somebody that will watch the replay says, I'm struggling a little bit with consistency. Is there any tips that you can give business owners that may be kind of like worn out a little that just struggle with like consistency?
Great question. Yeah, consistency is a big thing. I think I'm loving this topic so much because I've also struggled with it myself, and we always get better because I think the biggest form of discipline for me came in through podcasting, because for me to hit like 380 plus episodes, and John has probably double of mine, you think about the consistency, like from 1 to 50, from 50 to 100, from 100 to 250, from 250 to 500. That consistency, it has to come from an inside place. Because for me, my passion inside was, hey, if I'm going to release these episodes, I know a year or two from now, someone's going to benefit. That's my passion, because I know if I don't do this today, someone else is going to do it tomorrow, or someone else is going to do it today, and I will have to lose out on that tomorrow. So if you want to think about consistency and growing, right? The best easy ABC 1, 2, 3 formula I can say for anyone listening is look at your calendar, right? Today is July 15th. Between July 15th and July 31st, let me be very specific, 1, 2, 3. So that's the 15th, the 22nd, and the 29th. Let me push it a day forward. The 16th, the 23rd, and the 30th. If you publish one lengthy post on your blog or on your podcast, or, I'm thinking about owned media, not even just shared media. If you post that one piece of content, let's say it's 30 minutes long, it's 15 minutes long, it's probably an hour long, that same content piece that you published can be enough for you for the whole week, right? Because when we think about consistency, it's in the showing up. Oh, I can't post today. Oh, I'm tired tomorrow. Oh, I can't do this. If you post in one place that is actually showing up and showing you up as a person consistently, then it'll be so easy at some point for you, because the thing about consistency is posting or showing up or being relevant. Because when someone says, oh, I want to be consistent, what they're really saying is, I still want to be credible, I still want to be valuable, I still want to be, I still want to have a connection, right? The best thing you want to do for 2024 as a business is to have owned media. And owned media is going to come and stem directly from things that you own. If you have a book, right? A chapter a week, actually a chapter a month, because you can't finish a chapter in a week, right? You can if you read it, but if you want to really digest it, get it down, that 1 month can be like, hey, we have a book club. 1 month, we're going to do chapter 1. That chapter 1, you drill the whole thing down to the last letter, to the last punctuation, right? That way, people can feel like, okay, I now understand this concept. Okay, let's move on to chapter 2. Just like before you graduate to the next class, you got to pass the previous class. So before someone gets to learn more about your business, the best thing is just to show up and say, hey, here's my information. Here's what I talk about, and then here's what I'm commercially bringing to the table. Then you can use that informational and commercial intent to let people know more about you. And the more you talk about how you're expressing yourself contextually, they'll feel like, okay, now I'm getting to know this person a little more just by the way they keep showing up. So I think the answer to your question is create content once and distribute it once, so it can go from one to many. Like with podcasts, if you publish once, it goes to all your platforms at once. Then if you want to distribute it, you can say, hey, here's 15 seconds here, here's 30 seconds there. And that consistency might also be a variable. But the fact that you already laid down the foundation and you've said something consistently, then it will work. Some people do batching, right? Some people can batch and say, okay, for the next few days, I'm going to batch, content for the next 90 days. It may sound like a lot of work, but when you have your content already, which is your owned material, it shouldn't be hard after that. Does that help?
That was perfect. Thank you so much for those strategies, Favour. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. Peter, we'd love to hear from you. What would you tell someone to, when you think about, just the SEO pieces, the content pieces, the bricklayering? How would you express that and tell?
What was the last thing you said? Did you say the layering?
Yeah, how do you bricklayer, content so that SEO wise, they're not losing out on potential customers or prospects, when they're searching?
Yeah, I really think it's a long, like John said, it's really long term. It's like a little bit at a time, but you have to be doing it all the time. And I think the only, I kind of, you touched on this, but the trick with having multiple articles on the same topic is you really need to make sure that you're not hitting the same keywords over and over again. So we want to have them be different enough that they're targeting different keywords, but be the same enough that they're all supporting the main theme, which, let's say in real estate, you might want to do waterfront luxury real estate, but all the pages can't be about waterfront luxury real estate. Otherwise you're going to be confusing Google. It needs to be different topics on that topic. I don't know if that was clear.
No, you're totally clear on that. Could you tell people a little bit about duplicated content so that they can see? Because people may think, okay, keywords, I have one keyword, so why am I going to find another one? Or if I find another one, does it match with the original one?
Well, so there's different terms for it, but there's what's called a keyword neighborhood. So if you're talking about a particular subject, then there's certain words you're going to use that are related to that keyword that are not the same keyword over and over again. And Google expects to see those words show up. So if I'm a luxury, waterfront real estate expert, I'm going to be talking about the type of fire pit that we use on our beach property, or I'm going to be talking about the building style, which aren't about luxury waterfront, but they're related in a way that makes sense to anybody who's reading about it, but also to make sense to Google. So if we're too focused on a particular keyword, it makes us look like we're being sketchy. So we're just targeting something without actually having a lot of knowledge that's related to it. So that's why we want to be careful about not over focusing on the main keyword. And the other piece that goes with that is that what SEOs call keyword cannibalization. So if you can see that you're getting a lot of traffic to multiple pages from people searching on the same keyword, neither one of those pages that are appearing are going to rank as well as if you could get all your traffic going to one page on that one keyword. That's all I got.
No, I love that. Thank you so much for that. It makes a lot of sense, because when you think about the context, it plays a role, especially in how you show up. And the fundamental part of that, thank you, Peter, for that insight. The fundamental part of that about that is your username and your URL. Because your username is what people know you as the author of that post, or the author of that blog, or the author of that podcast, or the author of that information, generally speaking. Then when someone goes down to the URL, the uniform resource locator, that name in between that domain is what's going to also let people know how different the context is. Because if I'm using a keyword to express something, then I need to focus on something called LSI, which is latent semantic indexing. In other words, how do you say the same thing without saying the same word in a different way? So when you semantically create content, right, you want to semantically give people a reason that, hey, I understand what you're talking about, right? You can use a thesaurus, you can use, dictionary, you can use encyclopedia, just get other pieces of information about the information you're talking about, but put it in a different way. So when the algorithm is scanning, you're also not losing out on your information from a top of level standpoint, because when you have a URL that matches the same, then that might be a problem. But you can still have a keyword in your URL, right? And it still has a different connotation. Like I can say SEO-services. My next one could be SEO-VS-PPC, or SEO-maintenance, or SEO- or local-SEO. You can play around with it in between, but you don't want to have the same context like Peter was saying, because if it's the same context, then Google doesn't know, or search engines don't know who to give priority to, or which page to give priority to. And that's a problem, because if you're writing content because you want to fulfill a niche, but you're not answering questions about that niche, then it changes. The best way I like to do this is use the 5 W's and the 1 H, because that's always going to prompt a different question. Anytime you type on a search engine, the first word is what triggers, and the last word is what triggers the algorithm. Because if I say I'm looking for cake, right, you just get cake. But if I'm now typing I'm looking for cake colors and decorations, then that decorations part of the cake is what's going to show up online, because it's a filtered source. So anytime you're creating content, the URL has to match the content, right? And always look at that URL. Even from LinkedIn, when you're posting on LinkedIn as a newsletter, before you hit publish, there's a section that says settings, and there's a section below that that says SEO settings. People kind of leave that hanging. They don't just, they don't do that. They just kind of like leave that hanging. And that is a bad practice, because if you put the SEO meta title, into your description, into your URL, then that's going to take your business to the next level, like all the way up to the next level, because you're leveraging media. You're leveraging equity based on domain authority, right? So if you have a podcast, this is what I'm doing for myself. So I want you to do the same thing too for yourself. If you have a podcast, create a newsletter, or create a showcase page, or create a company page, right, for your podcast, or for your book, or for your blog on LinkedIn. and then be the author, because you're the author of that. It's either you're the author or the company is the author, right? However you want to put it, or the business that you're creating on LinkedIn is the author. If it's you as the author, then in your articles, because there's articles and there's newsletters, there are two different things. With the newsletters, that's one side you can actually add your content. The very first words, right, of your content should have your podcast name, should have your business name, or should have the focus name, right? You can put it, of course, anywhere you want to, but if you want to really hit home hard, start off with the first few words. Because if the name of your podcast is ABC, then right after ABC comes whatever that information is. So anytime someone's looking for context about that information, your brand shows up first because you're able to index that into the information. So people may not know your name, but they know the problem they need to solve. And if your name is part of that information, then they'll register your name, and that's how you become the person they come to eventually when they connect with you offline. So this is definitely, the goal to handle on that. Austin says double Windsor. Good to have you here, Austin. And Danette says good info. I'm glad that you were here. Thanks for participating. Hidden, what's up?
Favor, can I ask you
Yes,
a question really
go
quickly?
ahead.
Can you talk more about the Work Smart Masterclass, please?
Yes. So the Work Smart Masterclass above, we're actually almost running out of seats. So please make sure, it's a very limited number and we're already halfway through. So, and not really halfway, but like tipping over 50% already. So the Work Smart Masterclass is a 90-minute masterclass. It's a 90-minute workshop. It's a 90-minute get together that we're going to have virtually, where you'll be able to spend 90 minutes with me and the people that are going to be in the space. We're all going to be talking to each other. It's not going to be like me against y'all. It's going to be us against each other. We're going to be fighting the problems together, right? So it's going to be a collective group that we're going to talk together and spend 90 minutes to save 90 days of research. And what I'm introducing to you are AI marketing tools for entrepreneurs, for business owners that don't have, they're going on Fiverr, they're going on Upwork, they're hiring, firing, they're testing AI, testing subscriptions, free trials. Like, you're spending money and time. So I want you to save that money and time in 90 minutes. The investment is $47. Once you're in, you'll be able to have 90 minutes. You have access to the replay and you have access to the tools. I have 7 tools I'm going to be giving you in this masterclass. 7 tools. One of the tools I actually connected with them earlier this morning. They live in they're based in Lithuania. So I got to talk to her. Her name is Emily. And we've come up with some things together. So I've been working in the back end for you guys because I don't do workshops at all. So this is like a workshop I've come back to do after years of people like, yeah, come do a workshop. So I'm going to do a workshop and show you how in live mode you can actually find your audience in real time and use AI to speed up your process. That's what we're doing on my side. These days, I don't even look at YouTube videos the same. I look at a YouTube video. If I want to know what that YouTube video is saying, I'll scan it through my AI assistant. I'll get the time markers. I'll get the emojis. I'll get the insights. And then if I want to really listen to that information, I'll click on the timestamp and go there. Because a lot of people that use YouTube, they don't have best practices. They don't put chapters in their show notes. They don't put those things. So you have to literally scroll through a whole video to get the information. So the AI assistant is going to help you break those things down, because the more you're able to break those things down at a faster rate, the faster people can connect with you. So I'm going to give you those SEO tools. Some of them are SEO based, some of them are virtual assistant based, some of them are creative based, some of them are research based. So I created this whole 7 pile that's going to come together as one. Some of them are free, some of them you have to pay. I have affiliate links for them so that you can get connected. And if you have any questions, you'll be able to connect with me further. But it's going to be 90 minutes. It's going to be July 30th. That's the goal. It's going to be July 30th at 8 a.m. Central Standard Time to 9:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. If you're available, please make it. Click the link above. If you're not able to make it, still click the link above and you'll have access to the replay, because I'm not going to do this replay twice. I'm not going to do this masterclass twice. But yes, this is going to be a great time for you to understand how marketing tools work. And I'm doing this at a very opportune time, because when we hit August, September, when you start seeing the new iPhones rolling out, the new iOS start rolling out, yeah, you start to be like, oh yeah, I really wish I picked this SEO early, because SEO is changing. By this time next year, we won't be searching the way we are searching now. So if you know how to get into the AI algorithm and get into platforms like u.com, which is an AI search engine, right? It's powered by Microsoft. How do you get on there? So these are things that we're going to cover so that you don't feel alone. You don't feel like you're stressed. And yeah, we're going to fight those problems together. That's what we're going to do. Does that help, Choma?
Absolutely. I can't wait.
Yeah, me too. Can't wait. Can't wait. Thanks for being here. That was a great question. I just keep the link up top sometimes and I'm like, to somebody ask me, I'll talk about it, but I don't want to, to be heavy on that. But I appreciate that I was able to, respond to that question. Julie, and I see you as well, Dr. RP. Thanks for being here. Let me come to you, Julie. How are you? Good morning. Or is it afternoon now? Sorry, it's Eastern.
It's still the morning, Fav. I'm doing great, and I'm so excited. I didn't hear about your masterclass because I've been out of town, so I'm going to check it out. And you guys, if you don't know Favor, he's the real deal. I know he's going to deliver the goods. So thanks, Fav.
Thank you so much, Julie. I appreciate you. Thanks for being here. Dr. RP, thanks for being here. I know you put in the chat your industry. When I asked about this, I said service, you said B2B sales engine. Can we talk about that a little bit more? Dr. RP, are you there? If you're speaking, you're muted. Okay, we're gonna.
Sorry, I will catch you later. I'm on a call. Sorry.
Oh, no worries. And then once you're back, just wave at me so that, I'll be able to bring you in as well.
Sure,
Sure.
sure.
Yeah, anytime. Awesome. Okay. So I mentioned these three things, right? About product service strategies for SMBs. One, you got to be fast, right? Your website has to be fast. Your page has to be fast. You have to be fast. Like the faster you are in the business, the better it is. I mean, it's a 101. If you go to Bark or you go to, what are these platforms called that you have to like put in leads? Whoever picks up the lead first, you get into it. The first person, how they say the early bird catches a worm? That's really what it means with business. Because if you show up at the top of the search and you're the fastest person to get to the top, if you're the fastest person to get to the mountain, then you're going to look at everyone else coming up the mountain, right? Because you took time to understand, okay, I'm going to use this path. I'm going to go this way. I'm going to jump this hurdle. I'm going to throw these rocks. Like you're going to know exactly what to do because experience is the best teacher, right? So when your website is fast, it also means that you have, good content that the algorithms understand. Then on top of that, as a service, when you have a service, the number of pages need to match up, right? When you have a service page, think about those pages and ask yourself, okay, am I doing these pages for myself? Am I doing it for my clients? Am I doing it for the people? Where are we going with this information? And that way, the more you're able to give people context about your business and give them examples, like a book. When you talk about a book or in a chapter, you hear this is the main topic, this is the context, and then you have an example or a story from the author about an experience they had to justify the information they're giving you. So when you do that in prose format, with your content, then it's easier for someone to really understand, what you're going to do and how you're going to show up. Dr. RP, back to you.
Yeah, can you please repeat the question that you asked?
Yeah, you talked about your business with the B2B sales engine. So I wanted to learn more about that. Yeah, as far as, if you're having any issues, problems, or, wins that you've had, we'd just love to hear from you.
So yeah, for sure thing. You are mainly talking about SEO or marketing stuff. We mainly focus towards the outbound stuff. Where the companies or the customers, they are not into SEO stuff, they are not into the marketing or ad stuff, and they are interested towards the outbound processes. I myself is not an expert of SEO, and actually all the things that you have mentioned, there were so many things that I've learned today, that could be implemented. But the catch is that, the main problem is that we are also, for our own business, are relying on outbound efficiency, outbound processes. I'm currently working on the website revamping phase 2 for my company. And actually, I am in the process of keywords, SEO stuff, ranking, uh, the backlinking. I'm pretty much sure I'm not saying that the terminology is right, but this is what I've understood with the discussion with of my SEO manager, and also something like ghostwriting or some article stuff. So these are some areas that we are focusing on, and we really want to enhance over ranking on a specific demographic or geographical part of the US. And it's being a challenge for us. And I know this is a long process. It takes about 3 to 6 months. The more effective you are, the better results that you get. But yeah, still, this is a mystery. This looks very simple and easy when you listen to it, when you read article over internet. When you start performing it, we have done it like on a very minimum stage, but it's very difficult, it's very technical, and the results, getting the results, it's I think it's something, learning a new technique or new magic thing. So yeah, the main problem is that we are not up to the mark. We are behind on SEO stuff. We are not able to get some good business or leads from our inbound efficiency or from Google or from other platforms, just because we are lacking on the SEO part. Does that make sense?
It makes a lot of sense, and I'm glad that you were able to bring that to my attention and also to our attention as a room, because a lot of people are struggling with SEO because things are changing, times are changing, and not every agency is also changing. Not every agency is adapting to the new AI solutions. They're not adapting to what's happening. People are still using traditional solutions and, testing, writing blogs and pushing them out like it's 2022. It's not the best strategy. So yeah, when you think about the long-term effect, the whole idea, like what you're saying, is you need to get people on board. People have to listen. And from what I've seen, just as a business, I keep saying this, like it's like I'm preaching to the choir, but having a podcast is going to solve this problem, because you're attacking all birds with one stone, right? With one publish, with one hit, because you're dealing with three sets. You're dealing with content creation or content curation, right? You're dealing with content distribution, right? And when you have the content distribution, people can, get to listen to you, they can learn from you. And then you think about content acquisition, right? So if I'm creating content, I'm distributing it, I'm going out there, I'm doing all the groundwork, how will I attribute to that one article or that one podcast that gave me that one acquisition? So you have to think about answering questions within a podcast. Turn that into text, turn that into audio, turn that into video, turn that even into animation if you can go there, right? Turn that into platforms that allow you to flaunt your skills and also give people an idea of who you are. So like when you think about it long term, your business can really get to those points. And for you, Dr. RP, LinkedIn is going to be your best source. I'm sure you're already there, but the strategies, the SEO pieces, those are some things that, would require more, more intentional work to see exactly where we're going and, what we're going to solve the problem for, especially within your industry, because every industry has their own need as well. So I put a link in the chat. That link is my Calendly. So anyone that sees that link in the chat that needs help, please click that link in the chat, and that link will take you to my calendar, and we'll be able to get on a call so we can solve this problem once and for all.
Sure, I appreciate that. Just to make it right, or this is what I got, like, I need to focus mainly towards the personal branding in order to move towards the right direction for the company to get more leads.
Exactly. I mean, you can buy leads. There's a website I know you can buy thousands of leads, right? But what benefit is that to you as a business if they don't know who you are? For me, like, even if I buy leads or acquire leads, I don't mean like buying contacts, but like earning them by, running ads, lead ads, and all those things. If you do that, for me, one strategy I do is, if you come to my list, if you sign up and you connect, I go to your LinkedIn first before I go to your Instagram or your Facebook. I go to your LinkedIn, because that's going to tell me how you handle business or how you conduct business, right? So that's a really important, strategy to look through. So yeah, it definitely boils down to your personality and into your branding as well. So that's one thing to look at. Thanks so much for that. Appreciate that, Dr. RP. That was a good one. Thanks for that insight. Okay. I don't know if I should say this. I'm really contemplating on this. John, do you have 5 minutes? I wanted to send you an email, but I held it back because I was like, I don't know if this is too much, but something happened on LinkedIn, and I wanted to ask you something. It's more of like it's more of a security question. John, are you there? Okay, maybe I'm not supposed to ask this question then. So I'll keep it for a later time because something happened on LinkedIn. Yeah, Chima is laughing because she knows what happened. It was the weirdest thing online, and I was like, am I being threatened or am I like, what's going on here? So yeah, I had to squash that really quickly, but it's been squashed because I didn't attend to it, but I just wanted to know like what would be the next point of action for me to, calculate, because it goes into personality. It goes into branding. How do you handle yourself? How do people connect with you? How do people, do all these things? There's a kind of parameter you get to that, people want to test you for no reason, but you also have to maintain your cool and also know how to conduct business professionally, especially when you're doing things in public. So
Is it someone you know, Favor?
it's somebody. Okay, now I'm gonna say it. So Julie, this is what happened, right? I know this person. Somebody came to my podcast, and I hope John is listening because I would love to hear from him too. And Julie, please let me know what your thoughts are. Or anybody who has any thought.
All ears wide open.
Okay, here we go. So I featured somebody on my podcast, right? And I told him, I could already feel like, when you have a gut feeling, you just know it. I just said, you know what, I'm just gonna ignore it, but I will keep going because I want to do what's good for humanity. So I featured this guy on my podcast literally a month ago. And I told him, hey, he started a business. I don't know how old he is, but he looks young, but I think he's also pretty business savvy. And I spoke to him. We had the podcast show. It was recorded, and that was it. Then at the end of the show, I told him, hey, if you want to promote your show, we have an accelerated program. We do this. We can sponsor your show. Just give them a whole 9. He's like, okay, send it to me. Then I even told him about like what process I use. We use Honeybook, and he's like, okay, send me those referral links. So I was like, okay, this is a nice guy. So I kind of like ignored the signs, and I said, okay, I'll send you everything. I sent you the email. We connected on Instagram. Next thing you know, like 3 weeks later, I'm sending him a message because I sent an email saying, hey, you didn't respond back to me. What's going on? Is it a yes? Is it a no? I don't like being, kept in the in the wind or on the fence. And then he now said, okay, I'm not really, ready for this, and I appreciate your time and all this, and that was it. Then I told him, I sent another message, and this is when it got heated. I said, hey, I've not heard from you. I understand you said you're not interested, but you didn't really give me like the full picture of what you really wanted, because I know you want to be on the show, but also I know you want to promote your business. So I gave you an option and you didn't really tell me what you chose. And if you don't tell me what you've chosen by the end of business day, I'm going to expire the file. I'm going to expire the project file. He thought that I'm going to expire our podcast file. And it was in reference to Honeybook, because I was like, on Honeybook, you can expire files, you expire invoices, you expire projects. That's why I said expire. So he thought, oh, I'm going to expire your podcast episode, so you can't do anything about it. If you don't pay me for this sponsorship, I'm not going to air your podcast. And I was like, wait a minute, that's not true. So some random guy from LinkedIn hit me up. He's like, let me actually go to LinkedIn. Like, because it's already public, so I'm going to put the link up there. And this was on my featured post, which is annoying. I wanted to send a message, but I said, you know what, let me just be a nice person because I don't like trouble. So I'm going to put the link. Yeah, perfect. So I'm going to put the link in the chat to LinkedIn so you guys can see it. 1 second. So you guys can see the context I'm going with. Boom. All right. So I put the link in the chat. The last one is in my LinkedIn post. So this guy, Dennis, comes to me and says, hey, you might want to make things right with this guy called Isaac Mashman if you care about your reputation. So I was like, what are you talking about? Please clarify what's going on. This is like 2 a.m. I'm waking up at 3 a.m., 4 a.m. I'm like, something is wrong. I had a feeling something is wrong. And then I sent a message. I said, please clarify, professional. I went to Isaac to his own DM and I said, hey, man, I don't know what's going on, but I don't know who you talk to, but I don't know why this person is coming to me. And I was like, hey, what's this about? He said, please clarify. Then Isaac now responded and said, hey, it's not that serious. I'll get to you in the morning. I said, cool. Then Dennis says, pull me in if you need a big gun. That's when I was like, what are you talking about? Like, is this a threat? So I didn't even respond to that message because in my mind, I'm like, I don't know you. I've not talked to you. You got false information. Now you're coming to threaten me. I don't know where you are, and I don't want to cause a problem. So why I'm bringing this up is because this is my first time ever. It's going to be 5 years for me podcasting in a month from now. And I've never had this experience before where someone is kind of coming to threaten me through a third party. And I asked him, how did that person get to know about me? He now told me that he mentioned the situation without mentioning my name on his LinkedIn. And in my head, I was like, why would you even do that in the first place? You're creating attention for the wrong thing. Now you're coming back to me to apologize for the misinformation that you heard. And now somebody else is threatening me on the other side. And I'm like, am I going to answer you back or am I going to retaliate? So that's what happened. I kind of left it in the air. If you see that LinkedIn post, I didn't respond back to that message. He didn't respond back to that message, but I want to make a response because I don't want to leave it hanging, but I don't know what to say. So that's why I brought it up.
Well, a lot of people won't like my response. First of all, I would say, and I'm assuming, I pulled down everything that mentioned him. He came in your house and disrespected you. That's a big problem for me. I'm very old school when it comes to that. And a lot of people get attention by creating negativity. So I have a choice. I can feed into it or not. And that's the choice that you have, Favor. You got a lot more people in your corner than you have detractors. So the amount of attention you want to give this is going to speak heavily about where you're at in the game. The last thing, and it's not that often that I reply to people. It's very rare because there's an old saying, never argue with an idiot. It's from Mark Twain. Never argue with an idiot. They'll just drag you down to their level and beat you with years of experience. And then add into that they'll still be stupid and you'll have bloody knuckles and you're going to look bad. So why do it? When I do reply, which is not often, I'll just say another example of a tough guy behind a keyboard and just leave it at that. But the first thing I would do is I would take every reference to him and podcast off my platform. I'd delete them. Secondly, just a little an analogy to use. So I have, in 7 years, I've had lots of podcasters that want to come on my show. They approach me, and I've had less than a handful that have returned the favor. And as a matter of fact, what that tells me is that they want my audience, but they have no audience of theirs. So just be forewarned that you determine your course of actions, not the other way around. Don't let this guy decide how you're going to behave and be seen in public. That's totally your choice, if that makes sense.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I didn't even respond because I was like, this is irrelevant. Like, and it's on a featured post. I almost deleted it, but I said, let me give it some time and think about it before I make my action. Because I don't make a move until I think through it because I don't want to regret what I'm doing. Thank you so much for that, John. Julie, what you thinking?
I am going to support John J. Wiley and his message, but the truth is, everything you write, they can use against you at some other time. I would block him, ignore him. Don't do it before I check out who this is, which will be in just a couple minutes, because maybe I know him. But you're above this, Favour. You're way too educated and smart and successful that you don't need to cower to these bullies. So I'm going to go scout it out right now. This is something I love to do, by the way.
Thank you, Julie. No, I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm very. It's crazy. You know, people look for attention in the craziest ways. Look at what happened. You know, so much has happened in a short amount of time. So I think it's based on how you respond and how you show up that people are gonna respect that. Like, I could easily respond back and say something crazy, and then I'll look stupid, or I can say something really smart and he looks stupid, or I cannot say anything at all and we will never find out. So I think it's also based on like how you.
Is it a public post? Or is it a DM? Oh, it is.
It is. It's like
keep it up. Keep it up for right now. Don't remove it because I need to take a look at it because this could rise. This could be serious. Like I just have to see what it is before I make any more comments.
Yeah, the reason why I was thinking about it, I didn't think it was serious until he involved, a gun involved. So I was like, what is he talking about? And in my head, I was like, okay, cool. Why are you even involved in this topic in the first place? You know, because he was telling me that people reached out to him to ask who the person is. And I don't know how he said it online because I'm not following him on LinkedIn, so I can't see that. I mean, I can check, but I said, that's a lot of energy I do not want to give to him. So I just, put it to the side. But if you had to find that post or that link in that link I sent you, if you go to, his name is Dennis Yu, because you'll see Alex Filippo, San Filippo, he's, Podmatch CEO. So he made a comment, and I'm like, this is great. And then that was 4 months ago. And then this random guy from nowhere talks about something 5 days ago. And then when you hit on the replies, that's when you're going to see those comments there. But it's cool. Yes, Peter.
Hey, Favour, I'm just gonna jump in and just add just a one thing that I actually think could at least, have this not escalate, and that is that you did start with saying that you think there was a misunderstanding. So you asked for something, you think that he thought it was you saying something else. I mean, the one thing I would probably do before I take any other action is just reach out directly to the guy and just say, hey, I said something. I think there was a misunderstanding. And I'm hearing from other people that you're doing these things, and like just because at least give them a chance to actually know that this is a Three's Company episode and there's just a misunderstanding that has to be resolved.
That's fair too. Yeah, I didn't want to reach out to him in just directly because I was like, this is going to start a fire, and I don't want that. But I also get what you're saying. It's like, is it defense? Is it offense? Like, where do we go? Do we stand in the middle, or do we just wave from the sidelines? So I definitely see what you're saying, I'll give it some time. It's been 5 days. I've not said a word. So yeah, we'll give it maybe 1 or 2 more days before I respond. But that was really great. Thank you, John, Peter, and Julie. That was some really great feedback. I appreciate that. Yeah, I think this is experience for you. This is how I've gone through what I've gone through, because I know we all go through different things, but I think this experience also maybe helps you too, to see how to handle business out there when people want to connect with you, especially on a big platform like LinkedIn, because you have mutual connections. That one person may tell the other person, and then you lose business or you lose trust, so you don't want to do anything that's going to jeopardize or taint your image online, especially in this big wild world, this world wide web we're in right now. It's big. So thank you so much for that insight. But I believe that today's room really gave you some insight on how to conduct business, why business is important, and what strategy to apply. Because the more you're able to give people more information about your business, the more they can connect back to you. Like with this example, that person's probably checked out my profile and said what he said because he saw what I do. If I had maybe 1 or 2 followers, I don't think he would have even bothered to send a message or say if you care about your reputation, because that's it's like reverse psychology in a way. So you have to really show up, show out, do what you got to do, and give people the best of you. Because as a strategy, one strategy I can tell you for both products and services is this: it's cuts across everywhere. The more high quality pages you have with videos including maybe your Instagram, your Facebook, your YouTube, anything that you're adding in there, that's going to always give value. And the more high quality pages you publish on your website, and you send those pages that you publish to the email list that you have, then that's going to take your business further. Just think about this for a second. Imagine if you published a LinkedIn newsletter or you published a video on YouTube, and LinkedIn or YouTube did not publish an email or send an email to your subscribers. There would be no traffic, there would be no signal, and there would be no website, right? So the reason why they're doing this is because they understand the value. Like even on Wix, for example, like a website like Wix, when you publish an article on Wix, for example, Wix will send it to your readers. They'll send an email to readers. Why is that email piece so important? It's so important because emails drive sales. Emails drive brands. Imagine if your favorite brand stopped emailing you today. There'll be a problem. Sales will go down. For every dollar you spend on email, you get $42 back. Go do your research and you'll see that you get above $40, period. Because think about the number of contacts you have. If you have 10 contacts in your email, it's going to attribute to how much you're making. If you have 100, it's going to contribute. If you have 1,000, it's going to contribute. Because people is what makes business, right? Without people, there's no business. Business is an interaction between two or more people, right? I can't be having business with myself. It wouldn't work. I mean, I can create a plan, but that plan will involve someone involved, right? So when you're creating content online, that strategy has to be based on publishing high quality content, whether it's a product, a service, a review, a PSA, some type of information. Hey, we just updated our privacy policy. Send that email. Hey, we just updated our website. Send that email. Hey, we just partnered with this company. Send that email. Hey, we just got launched here. Send that email, because that's what's going to let people know about you. Because people think email marketing is all sale, 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 sale. No, it's showing up, showing up, showing up, showing up. Because the more you show up, the more sales you get. You can't get anything by not showing up. You can't sell anything by not showing up. So positioning equals to sales, but don't focus on the sales, focus on the positioning. That way, that positioning allows you to accelerate over time. Yes, Dr. RP.
Yeah, just to clarify, you mentioned making high value content or website pages, and then sending those website pages to the contact list that you have via email. So the question is that sending that website pages at the signature of your email body, or like I just want to know some more details about that.
Yes. So when you send an email, I think I did a room about treating your website or treating your social media like a heat map. I talked about this months ago. So when you have an email, or when you have a blog, or when you have something online, natural tendency for people to do is to click on your link, scroll all the way down, see how much they have to scroll. Like if you think about how you scroll 1, 2, 3, 4, if you're using a mouse or you're using your fingers, just count the number of times you scroll page to page all the way down to the bottom. When you start counting those numbers, you can start to see how far people scroll. So the farther down they have to scroll, the deeper the ocean, like the colder the water. Think about it like when you're swimming in the ocean, when you dive deep, and the deeper it goes, the darker it gets, the colder it gets and everything. So think about that with your website. So at the very top of the shore, that's where everybody is. It's hot. Everybody's there, body temperature, everybody's having a great time, sunscreen and everything, right? When someone starts surfboarding into the ocean, you start seeing less and less people, right? So point is, when you have an email, make sure that whatever you want people to attend to or connect to is at the very top of your email, meaning that where they start to read, that's where they can start to interact, either as an image, a header, or maybe a link or some type of, italics. You can put it there as a signature. And then at the bottom, also have it as a signature, because the more links you have on your email, the higher your click rate. But also that depends on what you're giving. Because if it's a newsletter, of course, you want to have a lot of things in there because you want to pack it all up in one. It's like a roundup. But if it's one thing, or have this one event, or have this one message, then you want to deal with that one link. Because if you have 3 links and you want people to click one link, a confused mind never buys, or a confused mind never agrees. So you want to make sure that whatever you're giving them, even if it's at the top and the bottom, let it be the same link, so that whatever information you're giving them is not skewed and is not outside those formats. Does that help?
That helps. I just mentioned a comment in the chat.
Oh, I see it. Okay. We're talking about newsletter marketing emails to lead options in for emails. So it's newsletters is when you're already in. Marketing emails happens when you're in too, but you do more of marketing emails than newsletters, because sometimes newsletters are more of once a month or bi-weekly. And then marketing emails are almost every other week, depending on what your campaign is. Sometimes you may have less, you may have more, but essentially the pages that you're sending people to, that's why I brought this up. Let me just put it this way, to make it easier, because when you complicate it, it gets complicated. It's already complicated enough. So The more pages you publish, the more emails you send. So if you have 10 published articles, you should have 10 email sends. That should be the formula, 1 for 1. If you have 100 articles, you should have 100 email sends. If you have 2 articles, that's 2 email sends. But here's the thing, when you have those 10 articles, those 2 articles, you want to compound that, because when you say something once, it may not stick. It may not really have a retention. But if I say the same thing every single day for 30 days, it gets to a point where you even know what I'm about to say before I send the email, because I've already been saying it over and over again. So don't be redundant, but also just enhance it in a way that people can connect with you further. Does that help now?
That helps. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
you're welcome. You're welcome. So, guys, this has been a great room. I'm glad we were able to talk today about products and services, strategies. The whole idea here is the more products you have, the more services you have, create more pages, more than the products and services you already have. If you offer one service, have more pages for that one service. If you have 10 services, have 10x of that. So that more people are able to see you, the more they can find you, connect with you, and that's how it works. Imagine if Netflix only had one movie. Would you pay $9.99, or is it what, $12.99 now? You wouldn't pay that, because it's like, what am I paying for? So when you pay for something, you pay attention to what you're looking at and how you're connecting with those things. So if this helped you in the room, I know we've had a really long room today. If this helped you, put a 1 in the chat. Just put a 1 in the chat for me, please. If this room helped you, if you learned something new, if you're able to take some information home, and if you're also going to take action, because the last thing I want you to do is not take action. I don't want you to not take action. I want you to take action and go do this correctly. Just think about the things I've said. Not everything may resonate with you, but the ones that do, please, use those and, connect the dots later as well. So that would really help. Thank you, Angel, Chama, Chica,
Favor.
and John. Yes.
Speaking of take action, can you put the masterclass link back up?
Nah, I'm going to take action now. So here we go. Here we go. All right, guys, please give me a second. Let me put this. We're about to wrap up in the next 3 minutes. All right, here we go. So that's the link. Sign up. If you look at the link, it will tell you how many guests there are. There are already 6 guests in there, plus me, we're 7. So that's why I was saying we're kind of like almost 50% over, because I only want to have about 14 people in here. Why 14? Because I want us to divide ourselves into 2. We're going to have a breakout session. We're going to have a great time, and we're going to focus on your business. So when you leave with a contact. You leave with somebody that you've never met before. You leave with maybe a referral. You guys might be in the same city. Things happen. So I just want you to be in that room taking action, and we're going to do it together. Like when you leave, you're going to leave with a blueprint. You're not coming to a workshop to learn from me. You're coming to learn from others, including me, so we can learn together and learn about each other's businesses, because I don't know about your business as well as you do. All I'm doing is showing you what I'm showing, but if I'm showing you what I'm giving you and you're able to apply it, then long term it can really give you that success. So yeah, the link is above. Click on it, save it. The replays are on. You can come back to this replay, tap on the very 3 dots at the top so you can save the replay, come back to it. And yeah, make sure that you're there. It's literally in 15 days. So, and that's why I set this up early, because I want you to start using these tools early. I don't want you to get to use the tools on the day of. I want you to test them. So when you come to a workshop, you're like, oh, I tried this, I tried that. Can it work? Can it not work? So those are the things that we're going to be talking about. So yeah, feel free to do that, and I'll be able to see you in there for sure. So does that help you, Chioma?
Yes, it does. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. You're welcome. Awesome, guys. This was a great room. I see my good friends in here. CZ, welcome. Derek, David, Anonymous, Nasli, Niles. Niles, you have a cute dog. Didn't even know you had a dog. That's a cute dog. Thanks for being here. ECMD, good to see. It's been a while since I've seen you on the app. Welcome back. Patty, Chica, Angel, No, I see you as well. Coco, Ashwin, Pezman, Joseph, and also Oluwatosin. Thank you for being here. Hope you guys learned something new, and take action, take action, take action, take action. We don't want you guys not to take action, because if you don't take action, there'll be a problem, later in the future. So action takers are go-getters, So wish you all a bright and happy July 15th, Monday morning, Monday afternoon for those as well, wherever you are. Enjoy your week. And I'll be back here again. This was a pop-up room, so I apologize if you guys thought like this was a random room. I just thought about it. I said, let me just, start it up. But tomorrow I will schedule something so that we can have a really good time to talk about this even further, and we can, stay connected and help each other grow. So thanks for connecting. God bless you all. Have a blessed day, and I'm gonna see you guys soon. Bye. If you have reached this point of the episode, I just want to say thank you so much for listening to the We Don't Play podcast show. I hope this has helped you, given you some insight, because every time I come on here, or anytime I bring somebody on here, a guest, a speaker, anyone that is of relevance to you listening is always going to give you educational value, definitely entertainment value, and most importantly, empowerment value. So thank you for listening to the We Don't Play podcast show every day. And if you want to reach out to me, you know where to find me. Click the links in the description, or go to info@playinc.online, info@playinc.online, and book a call. Let's talk. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk SEO. Let's talk marketing. Let's talk business. Let's talk scaling. And I look forward to meeting you and learning more about you and your business. Till we meet in the next episode, have a blessed evening. Have a blessed day, night, wherever you are in the world. And I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Bye for now. And don't forget, Jesus loves you.